which is a quorum. And it is 2:30, and we can get started whenever you're ready. Margreta.
All right, then I will call this meeting to order. Do you have things you need to read at the beginning?
Yes, I have a short introduction about our hybrid meeting, and then Cece is going to do roll call. Good afternoon. A few housekeeping items. This meeting is being recorded and broadcast on the city's YouTube channel. Please remember to mute yourself during the meeting when you're not speaking. The chat function of this meeting has been disabled, and all chats will directly go to me as host. Unless you're participating, please turn your video off. This allows active meeting participants to be seen on screen. The city and MPO reserve the right to mute people or turn individual videos off to minimize distractions during the meeting. And I'll turn it over to Cece for roll call vote.
Thank you, Jessica. Cronin?
Here.
DeVries? Here. Mathis?
Here.
Rodden?
Here.
Weigel?
Here.
Fantastic, we have quorum.
Thank you.
All right, this says introductions. Do we need to introduce ourselves?
Don't know that we have anybody new in the room. If anybody would like introductions, we can do that. Otherwise. Oh, and
Nobody's raising their hand, so I'm gonna guess not.
okay.
All right, public comment. Do you have anybody for public comment?
There is no one in the room. And no one has raised their hand online or turned their video on, indicating they would like to provide public comment at this time.
All right, is there an option to give more public comment later if it comes up?
Every voting item could be an opportunity for comment.
Okay.
So we should entertain that after the questions have been answered and discussion, but before the vote.
All right. Then we'll move along to approving the minutes from our February 6th meeting. We didn't meet in March. Does anybody have any amendments or want to make a motion to approve the minutes?
Move to approve the February minutes.
I would second.
All right, the approval of the minutes is moved and seconded. Cece, do you want to do your roll call vote? Yes, happy to. Cronin?
Aye.
DeVries? Aye. Sorry, 1 second. My Excel just died.
Okay, I'll finish it. Crick?
Aye.
Mathis?
Aye.
Rodden?
Aye.
And Weigel?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously 6-0.
All right. Agenda items. First agenda item is the TIP Amendment 7.
Cece is going to present that.
Thank you, Jessica. Alrighty, let me share my screen. Hello, my name is Cece Riley. I'm a Transportation Planner 2 with the MPO. This is the 7th Amendment to the TIP. The TIP implements the Long Range Transportation Plan T 2050. Generally, we amend the TIP quarterly, and this amendment is associated with KDOT, Lawrence Transit, and the City of Lawrence interest in changing or adding projects to the TIP. We put this document out for a 15-day public comment period from March 7th to March 22nd, and no public comments were received. There are 3 projects being amended in the proposed TIP before you today, and 1 new project, 2 from KDOT, 1 from Lawrence Transit, and 1 from the City of Lawrence. The new project proposed by KDOT is for the road reconstruction of K33, a 2-lane roadway in Douglas County. The project is approved for preliminary engineering, and the funding shown reflects that in the TIP number 152. The amendment requested by KDOT is to revise the state funding to reflect actual costs in 2024 for KA 363403, tip number 237. The amendment requested by the City of Lawrence is associated with tip number 520, and the changes proposed remove the 2023 funding line, which was previously set to 0, and alter the 2024 line to reflect actual expenses in 2024. The amendment requested by Lawrence Transit is associated with tip number 426, and the change of the fund source from microtransit pilot program from federal to state. This was a mischaracterization of funds in previous tips that staff noticed when submitting the last tip to KDOT, and it's now being corrected. Additional information on these projects can be found in the amendment summary for this tip amendment agenda item, as well as the screen in front of you, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Anybody have any questions? Seeing none, is there any public comment?
There's no one in the room, and no one has indicated by turning on their video or raising their hand that they'd like to provide public comment on this item.
And in light of no questions or discussion or public comment, would somebody like to make a motion?
I motion to approve of tip amendment number 7.
Do we have a second?
Second.
So it's been moved and seconded to approve tip amendment 7. CC, will you take your roll call vote?
Would you like, did you have your Excel back up?
I do.
Okay, great.
Thank you for that.
Yep.
Sorry, everyone. Crick,
Aye.
Cronin,
Aye.
DeVries,
Aye.
Mathis,
Aye.
Rodden,
Aye.
Weigel.
Aye.
Passes unanimous.
All right. Item 2 is the regional Eudora, Baldwin, and Lecompton pedestrian plan.
Great. Thank you. We are bringing before you today a document that has had an extensive process with the MPO, and due to staff changes, some delays in this process. But to present you the final document here of the Eudora, Baldwin City and Lecompton pedestrian plan update. This is the remaining part of the regional pedestrian plan from 2016 that the MPO needed to update. And so it has a vision and some focus areas of the plan, like much of the, I can't, just a second. There we go. Okay. Well, that's not convenient at all. Okay. And I'll just highlight a few things for each of these planned city areas. We have shown existing conditions and the priority network where to prioritize investments in funding. And I'd like to note for all of the cities, Eudora, Baldwin City, and Lecompton, they have all, since the last 2016 plan, pursued investments in built environment infrastructure for the pedestrian built environment based on the planning work that has been done. So when we went back out to the public in each of these communities, we found there's generally strong or very strong support for the priority pedestrian network and establishing gap infill and sidewalk condition across the board in these places, and continued progress on projects to do so. We also then, in each of these plans, discussed some of the design options and crossing improvements and standards and metrics that should be used to recognize that the sidewalk is not the only piece of the pedestrian network. And so there are other elements besides just building sidewalks in terms of marking and slowing speeds that are critical to improving safety in these spaces. And so we've provided some design guidance based on national best practices to do those strategies across these communities. Additionally, Here you can see kind of, there's a whole summary of public support for this. This is the Eudora example from respondents to their survey for strong or very strong support to the network. We put this out for a public comment period from January 22nd to February 20th and received 2 comments related to that in the process, of which were in regards to infrastructure and or dislike of infrastructure, of which we received those comments and made no changes to the draft plan for these communities. I would be happy to entertain any questions you may have about the drafting of this document, or refer to the city participants for any questions you have about implementation work that they have going on related to the pedestrian environment.
Does anybody have any questions or comments? This is going to be a quiet, fast meeting if nobody talks. The recommended action is approval of the pedestrian plan.
Point of information, we need to allow for public comment.
I was just going to
okay,
say,
great.
Is there anybody online or in the room with public comment about this stuff before we take our action?
Okay. Thank you. There is no one present in person, and there's no one who has indicated by turning on their video or raising their hand that they'd like to provide comment on this item.
All right. Does anybody want to make a motion?
I would move that we recommend approval of the regional pedestrian plan that includes Eudora, Baldwin City, and Lecompton.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the regional pedestrian plan for Eudora, Baldwin, and Lecompton. Could you take your vote?
Sure, I'll proceed to do that. Crick?
Aye.
Cronin?
Aye.
DeVries?
Aye.
Mathis?
Aye.
Rodden?
Aye.
Weigel?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously 6-0.
All right. I didn't see anything under quick updates or other business. Has anything come up since you published this agenda?
Yeah, thank you. We have been informed today, and I'd like to let TAC know that this will be Eleanor Mathis's last meeting as a KDOT representative working with the Lawrence Douglas County MPO Technical Advisory Committee. She's accepted another position at KDOT, and so we'd like to thank her for her role in coordinating with us from the state perspective and wish her lots of luck in her future role. But this will be the last time you'll see her on these calls, and we will be working with Ryan in the interim, who has previously worked with us before and will be participating with us in the future until they rehire.
Congratulations, Eleanor, on your next position.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Other than that, I have no other updates or business.
All right, well, that brings us to the end of today's agenda. It looks like our next meeting is on May 7th, and we'll look forward to seeing everyone then.
Thank you.